Network to Share's CloudFileSync is a powerful on-premise, company-controlled file sharing solution. Using it, you can take your own storage sitting in your office, your data center, storage provided by your IT services provider, or storage provided by any of the major public cloud providers, and create your own powerful and flexible private cloud. Your users can use this to share files between their workstations, mobile devices, and with their clients and vendors, while retaining full control of the files in your own private cloud. Today we've got a brand new account here, and what we're going to do is connect it to some storage, create some drives, add some users, manage them into groups, and then make the drives available to those users. So to start with, we're going to pop over here to the left and click on storage and manage storage to see what storage we have available. Now we have a couple of storage sources available to us here. These are being resold to us by our IT services provider. What we can do as well, we could choose to add our own server if we had, say for instance, a server in our premises, or if we wanted to set up our own cloud file storage. But we're not going to do that today. What we're going to do is use this CFS specific one and buy a drive. Now we'll set up a few here. To start with, let's set up a account for our sales division. So we're going to call the drive sales, we'll give it the S drive letter. We're going to enable file retention. Now enabling file retention means that when one of your files is deleted, it'll be able to be restored if it's within the retention period which you've set when you've created the drive. So let's make that 60 days retention. And we're also going to enable file versioning. File versioning works on a similar premise. A version history is maintained of each file, and when it is saved over, the previous version is saved. So if you lose some of your work, you can come into the CloudFileSync interface and restore the previous version of that file and get that work back. So we're going to save the last 30 versions of any specific file. On top of that, we offer an extended version history. This allows for the retention of file versions beyond our set version limit here, as long as it's within the file retention period. So this is kind of like file versioning on steroids. This means that you can use up your file versioning on something, your file versioning limit, on a file which is used very regularly, such as a shared sheet where you may have 20 workers regularly saving changes. And as long as it fits within your file retention window, you'll be saving those versions to make sure that you won't lose any data. We're going to enable that here, and we're going to click Save. So now we've got an S drive. Let's go ahead and add a couple more. So we're going to add one more here. And we're going to make this a production drive for our production department. We'll give them P. And we'll give them a 100 gigabyte drive. As you can see, the price per month adjusts here on the sliding scale of pricing to the right. What we'll do is we're going to give them slightly less active limits because they're more of a labor intensive area where it's not, file retention and versioning isn't quite as important for them. And we're going to save that. And we're going to create one more drive. This time we're going to create it on a different server. And we'll just make a little 5 gigabyte drive to hold accounting. Give this a drive letter of N. And this one is very important. So what we're going to do is we're going to give it a 365 days of retention and 10 file versions. And we're going to enable that extended version history to make sure we don't lose anything. So we'll go ahead and hit save here. So we've got 3 drives now on 2 different servers. If we had, we could add any number of servers from our own self-managed servers, cloud services, storage which is being resold to us by an IT services provider, and we could assemble our own storage solution based on as many servers as we want based on our requirements. So this part of it's really nice and flexible, and it means that it will be able to grow with you without too much growing pain. Now I've got some feedback that our production guys, the 100 gigabytes isn't quite enough, so we're going to pop the drive into maintenance mode over here. And once that's in maintenance mode, it'll go offline. There we are. And we're going to give them a little bit more space. So we're going to come in here, we're going to give them 125 gigabytes, and we're going to save that now. Now with those changes saved, we're ready to add some users to the system. Wait, first, better turn the drive back on. So we're ready to add some users to the system to give them access to these drives. So we're going to come up here into user management under the users section, and we're going to add a new user. So just to cheat a little, I'm going to fill these details out here with RoboForm. So this is a fairly typical web form. We're just taking the name and email of our users, where they are, what their time zone is, and so forth. So we can, at the point of creation here, we can enable a drive specifically for a user. We're not going to do that. We want to rely on the group system, which we'll go into in detail in a moment. Great, so that user's been created and they've been sent an email with their details. This makes it easier if you're administering a lot of users. So we're going to go back to the user management screen here, which has got our 2 users so far listed, and we're going to import some users. Now I've prepared a CSV file earlier. I'll just quickly show you what that looks like sitting on my desktop. It's fairly simple, just a first name, a last name, and an email address. And we're going to grab that file and we're going to upload it, and those users will be automatically created. This is our review screen. I've had a look at them. I'm very happy with those details, so we're going to confirm that we want to import those 6 users. Okay, there we go. So all in all, we've got our 8 users here. What we're going to do is we're going to pop over to our groups section, and we're going to make a couple of groups and assemble these users into groups. So to start with, let's make an accounting group. And we want Lily and Joe here to be in the accounting group. We'll hit save. Say if we missed out and we want Janet as well, we can come back and edit it, and we'll just click save again. Alternatively, if we were working on a large amount of users, we've got a manage group members interface here, which we can use to drag and drop users between the in and out of the group, which is very useful when dealing with a large amount of users. So say if we wanted to pop Lily out and we want these 3, we can just pop them in like so. Let's add 2 more. We need the production group for that production drive. And we're going to put Bruce and Edward in that production. And we'll make one last group, which is the sales group. And that's just Edward by himself. Now with that done, what we're going to do is we're going to pop back down to storage, and we're going to manage the drives that we created earlier. So here we have our 3 drives. I'm going to go into the accounting drive here, view manage user access, and here we can give our users that we've created permission to the drive directly. We don't want to do that though. We want to rely on our groups to assign permissions, because that's requires a lot less work to maintain. So we're going to give our accounting group full access and save that there. So now if one of the accounting users was to log into the web interface or to the client, which I'll show you in a moment, they'll be able to see that accounting drive. So I'll go ahead now and I'll show you the CloudFileSync client. Okay, so our details for this administrative account are already in here. We're going to log in. Okay, so all these drives are now being mapped, and we've got a little tooltip here letting us know. We're going to close these down now, and you can see them here, all directly mounted in your My Computer. Now we're going to grab some example files we've got here on our desktop. Going to select them all, copy them, going to come down to this production drive, and I'm going to paste that there. So those files will then shortly be recognized. You can see the little icon here spinning away as it's uploading the files. Okay, so here we have the first 2 have been uploaded. I've got 8 uploads pending, and they will be processed away up into our drive. So there we go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come back to here, go to our File Explorer. Now we've shown you how you can buy some drives, add your users, manage them in groups, and give them access. Now what we want to do is show you how you can use the File Explorer to look at your files, manipulate them, or access them on any computer that has a web connection. So what we're going to do is go to My Drives. Our drives are here that we created earlier. If we pop into the production drive that we just copied those files into, looks like, have we finished uploading? Yes, we finished uploading, excellent. So those are the files that we just created. Now I'm just going to start off by creating a new folder here. We're going to call this Filed Sales Reports. So that folder is now created. It'll take a moment just to refresh the folder. There we go. And we're going to move a bunch of files into that. We'll just tick them here. Click on Move Selected To, and they will go into the Filed Sales Report folder. So we've got a list of our files here, Filed Sales Report, and we'll move here. There we go. So again, we'll refresh, and those will be moved into this Filed Sales Report folder. And we're going to pop into that File Sales Report. And I want a few more folders, I want a few more files in there. So I'm going to click on the File Upload button here. And we're going to go and pick the CSV file from before that we used to import our users. Click on Open, and that pops into our download queue, and that gets uploaded here. So in a moment that you'll see a green tick, there we go, and that's been accepted by the server, and it's now ready to go. Now say we want to upload a few at a time. We'll just pop back down here, and we're going to go to our C drive, grab a couple of little EULA files from the root of Windows here, and we're going to drag and drop these into the drop files to upload area, and those are going to be processed one by one with the green tick, and everybody will be happy. There we go. So as those files are processing through, another thing we'll do is say we wanted to download a bunch of files at once. We didn't have the ability to, or the need to deploy the client. What we can do is we can download, say, actually I'll just wait for this last one to go up because I'll re-download it just to illustrate the point. There we go. Okay, so the page is refreshing now. Those new files will be listed, and we're going to grab a couple of these files, let's say the top 3, and then we're going to download them. This is really useful if you had a bunch of files that you needed to download on a one-time operation. You can just log into the client with your credentials, select your appropriate files that you need, batch them up, click download, and they will be processed one by one. So you can see here they're in the queue. The first file has been sent to our browser and it's downloaded here, and the second and the third will follow. Those are the ways that we could just do simple file operations. What we're going to do now is just pop back into our P drive, the root of the P drive here. There we go, all the files are downloaded. And what we can do is we can delete one of these files, say this flyer proof. We'll delete that. And with that file now gone, what we will do is the button next to it is show deleted files. And we can use this to restore files which we've kept through file retention. So you can see the file we just deleted. What we're going to do now is we're going to right click that and we're going to restore it. Yes, we do. And that file will be pulled out of the file retention, restored to normal status, and we'll be able to access it normally. Okay, last but not least, what we're going to do is pop down to our My Computer here. You can see this is the production drive that we've been working on in the web file explorer, and we're going to modify one of these files. Let's have a look. We've got a readme file in here, and we're going to get rid of all this text and we're going to replace it with, this is a demonstration of the file restore. Actually, not restore, no, it's going to be file versioning system. I'll hit Control S to save that, and we'll close it. You can see that the timestamp is just updated. And now, if we come and have a look at it in the File Explorer here, we'll go back into that folder. Okay, so, and we can see our readme.txt here with the new version, which is quite small. We're going to right click this, we're going to go down to version history, and on the server we have the version history saved. We're going to go back to our previous version and restore that. So with that done, that file has been restored. We'll pop back down here. You can see that the client is actually a lot quicker than me. It's already restored these details. If we have a look, it's still the same Windows text file that we have there. So last but not least, we're just going to show you how you can share a file with a third party from the File Explorer. So if we go back to the root drive here, let's say this user manual here, we're going to right click and go to share. We have a few ways of sharing with people here. The first one is a automatically generated link to the file, which we can share that with somebody via an instant messenger or email or whatever is appropriate. They'll be able to visit that link and download the file. We can set a password on the access, which is very highly recommended, and an expiry, which is very highly recommended as well, to help make sure that no one else that you don't intend to can get access to your file. Last but not least, we're going to do a share the file with somebody via email. So what we're going to do is we're going to send it to file test share at, say, mailinator.com, and we're going to click share via email. I'll copy that link first. We're going to share that via email, and that will go off to our friend at that email address, and they'll be able to click on that when it comes through. Just to demonstrate how the sharing link works, I'm going to open a new tab here, paste that in, and Here we have our file, which is behind our password wall. I'm going to save that password. There we go, and the download is being prepared. And that file is now being streamed to us through the web from our file server to our browser. And here it is. That's the File Explorer in a nutshell. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us.